All right, I'm back. Hopefully this is working. Hopefully this is working now. Sorry, I came up earlier. The audio wasn't working, but I appreciate everybody over on chat telling me that you couldn't hear me. When somebody pops up on chat, let me know if the audio is working now. Just still figuring out how to do these lives daily. Having a ton of fun doing them. So happy that people are watching them and that I'm seeing them grow. This has become really, really fun for me, and hopefully it's the same for you. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some design. I got my design hat on, which is the hat that I have to wear, required by California state law when I talk about design. So this is what I'm always wearing on the show, but you can never see it because it used to just be audio, but now you can see me as well. So here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do a poster countdown by myself. Recently, some posters got released for the Chinese New Year. Happy Year of the Pig, everyone. So we're going to look at some of those posters. But first, what I want to do is give out the winners for yesterday's Monster Cafe promotion that I did. I don't know why I use the word promotion, because it's not a promotion. I didn't get paid. I just did it for free, but I did it. And what we did to celebrate episode 900 of Adventures in Design, I gave away 9 different packages of all 3 flavors of the Monster Cafe. Not getting paid, certainly open to getting paid. I like getting paid. And we'll take some of that sweet monster money if it becomes readily available to me. All right, so I want to go ahead and celebrate the people that won and that were nice enough to comment. By the way, every time you comment below each and every episode, I pick people at random and give out awards or prizes. I don't know why I said awards. But what I'll be giving out tomorrow will be another AID pen, the AID logo pen. So here we go. These are the folks who will be getting the 9 different Monster Cafes. I'm not seeing any chats. I don't know if I'm live, so if anybody's over there, let me know. That would be great. NFL Dudes 56, those Pepsi videos are ridiculous. Thank you so much, bud. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So does the winner get to test against Thunder King in the finales? You would hope to go against the king. You would hope to serve in front of the king. Happy Bungalow said mocha. Yes, you will be getting the mocha as well as the other flavors. Oh, what did I just do? I just lost myself. How do I get back to myself? There we go. I'm back to myself. And yeah, there's audio. Cool. I can see that you guys are over there. I just had to do a little quick refresh. Thank you for hanging out with me as I figure out all of this while I do it live. Happy Bungalow. You'll be getting some, as well as Adam. Can't wait for Hammer Time this Friday. We did the taste test on Hammer Time. It was as rowdy as one would anticipate and hope that it would be. So that went down on Friday as planned. Sorry, I'm just kind of editing this on the live. Had some hiccups this morning because it is live. Rob B, those Pepsi ads really did fall off the end. When you get to the clowns, when you have to use the clowns, as they say, call out the clowns. When you call out the clowns, you know that you're in a bad spot. That's when you know that you've really hit rock bottom. No offense to clowns. I'm not a clownist, but I'd have to say they're normally the least desirable demo to use to advertise whatever it is that you want to advertise. Look at this guy, Enon Avatar, new AID troll. Look at this guy trolling me. I love the Starbucks one. Fingers crossed I get one of those to try out the monster version. Oh, I see what he's saying. He's not being a troll. I read it wrong. Manuel, digging the live bits. I'm so happy that people are showing up and watching these with me. It's been really, really fun doing these. Hopefully you're enjoying them. And Anthony, congrats on 900. It was a fantastic episode. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it, Anthony. And Carl, I actually like the Monster Cafes already. Mean Bean is a good one. All right, so there we go. There's our winners. What do you say we get into looking at the artwork that we're going to look at today? So Disney, what they did was they put out some, I'm really kind of all over the place today, guys. I apologize. So Disney released some posters for Chinese New Year. Typically what you would think of would be something like I have over here. I'm still bad at this weather girl thing. If it's there, then it means that it's over here. Anyways, typically you would think of something like this that's all shiny and kind of, you know, shimmery and has the kanji in there, or the characters. I'm not even sure what's appropriate to say anymore in 2019, but this is what you would think. But they actually did something way more advanced to celebrate Chinese New Year, the Year of the Pig. They did this over on a social media platform in China called Weibo, Weibo. Weibo, and they made these posters that I thought were really cool and worthy of doing a little mini poster countdown on. So here you go. Here's number 6. They released 6 of them. Ironically, one for every poster, or one for every movie that they'll be releasing in 2019. So this is the Frozen poster that they did. These do adhere to a bit of a template, but I just thought it was so cool to see Disney like really embrace the Chinese market, to get on board with Chinese New Year, Year of the Pig, and really kind of do something different. So the Frozen one's my number 6. I think out of all the stories and ideas that you could tell out of Frozen, this one just doesn't go to the same level of detail and sort of embracing the culture as some of the other ones do. I found this one to just be a little bit on the boring side. My number 5 pick would be Aladdin. This one, it feels a little bit more complete. I like that they have a lot of the traditional stuff that we've seen in the back. I agree with you, Eric. It's a bit on the meh side. I just feel like this isn't, I don't know. It's not as good as some of the other ones. I do like that they have the background elements in there, but I feel like where they messed up on this is they made the lamp a little bit too shiny. And I wish that the things that are inscribed in the side, those details, I wish those looked more like they were burnt or cast into the metal, less like a Photoshop filter that somebody, tracked out where it should go, laid the pattern in there. So I just wish that it had more of sort of the softness and more of like we hear what we've all come to know from Chinese traditional tattoo art and stuff. That's what the background reminds me a lot of. But it is interesting when you look at the typography that is in play and how they sort of work it around the template. But this is a movie that I can't say that I'm particularly excited about, but I did see the trailer because I thought Aladdin, not a fan of the movies, the new version, don't know if I'm going to like it. So what do you say we look at the trailer together and see if this is a movie that we would want to see? So let's check out the Aladdin trailer that will be coming out this year. Let's check this out together.
Finally released from the Disney Vault, discover a whole new world in the beautifully restored, never before seen Aladdin Street Rat Edition.
What?
Worthless.
Not worthless. I don't have fleas.
What? Oh, Aladdin, you're such a savage.
So, where you from?
Oh no, this is going to get copy strike. This is a real Disney video. I'm breaking all the laws today.
Yoink. Yeah, so there's this street rat. Jasmine, get me out of here. Suckers.
Hold your breath. It gets
Is it just me, or is this way more edgy than what you remember the first one would be?
better. Now you can experience Aladdin the way it was meant to be seen in this timeless adventure through the streets of Agrabah.
Poor Aladdin. Poor Aladdin. Well, that's different from Disney. I'll be interested to see how that movie plays out. Looks like they're taking Aladdin as Post Malone. I like that, Eric. That's a good one. So this is the Aladdin poster. Not really my favorite out of the bunch, but let's move on to our number 4 selection. The Avengers. Avengers Endgame, as we all know, will be coming out this spring. Possibly will be the biggest grossing movie of the year. This one, I really like the color palette of it. I like the brightness of it. I liked how they worked in what we know from Avengers, but also putting it into the Chinese, design elements that we're familiar with. I feel like this one better than the Aladdin. This Aladdin one, the detailing on the side of the lamp, like I said, it just looks like a Photoshop layover. But I feel like on the Avengers one, it actually does look like it's gold detail put into the Avengers A. I also like that they used that Chinese pattern in the outer circle of the A, and they made that sort of a cutout. So this does feel like a weather vane or sort of a very interesting like decorative flair that we would see maybe at the top point of a building or maybe a sign outside. I like the idea of the Chinese lanterns that are floating around, because I feel like that's on brand with what the tone of the movie is going to be, as far as, you know, these spirits are sort of floating away and dissolving away from us. So I thought that was a really cool technique. They don't go overly crazy with the kanji on this one. I like how the template up at the top, the four main characters there with that box around it. Obviously, I could do without the Marvel Studios logo at the bottom, but we know how these corporate things are. There's rules and regulations. And, you know, as a designer, you just put it down at the bottom, anchor it next to some other things, and hope it really works. But I agree with you, Brant Farmer, that the A on this one is really well done. And if you look below at the detailing, you know, almost like that Celtic knot work at the bottom of it, and how it comes off of that flower, I thought that this one was really, really good, which is why I put it over at number 4. Lauren says if these were done with black backgrounds, they would really pop. I would like to see that, Lauren. I don't think you're wrong with that, but what, in their defense, and I'm not always going to defend them because I'm critiquing it, but in their defense, I would think that part of what I liked about this sort of natural or, you know, dyed paper stock that they are simulating is it does make it feel like it's old and on a scroll, or it just gives me sort of a tactile feeling to it, whereas if it was on black, I don't think that it would have that same softness like Jimmy just mentioned. I think that it's sort of part of making it feel authentically more Asian, and on black it might possibly look like a sticker on a background. Let's move on to my number 3 pick. Number 3, this is for The Lion King. As you know, Disney's decided to go through all of their classic animated movies and shoot them in live action. I haven't really been a fan of any of these. None of them have really caught me in my feels and in my soft spots. I think these stories were best told as animations. But I like this one. I like this one because the background has a good balance of detailed going off into the distance. I like how they showed the big sort of you know, that peak rock that they go out on. I don't know what the exact term for it is, but I like how that's there, but feels true to this style. I like that airbrushing that's across the bottom, you know, which would normally be like a watercolor that makes it go off. Oh, sorry. Turn the audio levels up. Okay. I think that video I played earlier was maxed out, so I'll turn it up over here. Thank you, Lauren. Still trying to figure out all of this. I appreciate. But what I really liked about this one is I thought that the storytelling was great with the rock, or they're making it look like a headstone and just putting the paw print in there. I thought this one, you know, they had to come up with an icon and really sort of tell the story. You're welcome, Lauren, no problem. I'm not really overly familiar with The Lion King. Like, I saw it in movie theaters. I'm not religious about the Disney movies. I'm more of a parks guy, but I do like this icon that they came up with, and I thought it was a cool way to tell the story. But maybe if you hadn't seen the movie, if you've been living under a rock, it wouldn't totally ruin it for you. But I really like the softness on this one, and the distance, and how it just went further and further and further out. So I thought this one had really good a visual hook. You know, somebody did more than just take the logo and try to make it look Chinese. I thought that was a cool play. Also, I feel like the balance of type on the bottom of this one with the gold kanji with that nice airbrush on it that actually makes it feel gold, I thought that looked pretty good. Yeah, it's Pride Rock. Thank you so much. Pride Rock is the big thing that's off into the distance there. And by making it sort of those, you know, bluish and green hues, because everything as it goes off into the distance always naturally in the real world gets a little bit more blue added to it. That's how our eyes in the world works. I like that they did the Pride Rock back there, but didn't make it the sort of the golden, yellow and orange hues that we're used to. All right, let's look at the number 2 poster from the Chinese New Year from Disney. These were created to celebrate Year of the Pig, and these were released over on Weibo, which is a Chinese social media service. Captain Marvel. I thought this one was really successful because they did a great job of working in, a lot of Chinese traditional art. It really is tied into nature, and it always shows the elements. And, as a fan of it, I like the way that they draw nature, and in particularly, like, how do you draw something such as wind? How do you get a wave crash just right? So I've always liked the way that they've made trees look sort of melting and flowing, and that it's not just a still life in a Bob Ross type of way. It's nature as we feel it, as the wind, as the sound goes through it. So I really loved this one and thought that they did a great job of subtly putting the movie in there, but this could feel like something that you might see on a sign, or that you might see as a decorative item in a shop or in a marketplace, and then working the environments over it, putting the wave crashes in there, putting the wind and the space. All we know about the movie so far is we've seen her sort of drop down to our planet. So I feel like it tells a good story of space and time and distance. And I agree with you, Brant. The symmetry on this one is really, really nice. And one of the things that many of us take away from Chinese artwork is that symmetry, a balance of nature, and keeping things nice and dialed in. I do think that the Marvel Studios logo once again ruins it. It kind of makes it abrasive and ruins sort of the fun surprise of looking at it and figuring out what it is. But I do like that the kanji up at the top this time kind of feels like it fits into its proper space. Not a huge fan of the type that's below the Marvel Studios logo. Not a big fan of the way that looks. I think that they could have taken the drop shot out there, just kind of kept it that rustic color. I don't mind the outer gold stroke or the airbrush, but I think once you put that black shadow in there, and it also looks like they've got it like sort of protruding, like wrapping around, which with a complex writing system like that, I just think it's putting too much attention into a place of the poster that you should just kind of glance at, and it shouldn't take away from that nice icon that they've created in there. Okay, our last one, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Remember, please comment below if you can. I'll randomly pick a comment tomorrow to give an Adventures in Design pin. And the more that you comment, the more that you like, the more that you subscribe, the channel builds, and I can justify keep doing these and hanging out each and every day. I agree with you, Beanie. It's too 3D on something that feels flat and subtle. Kind of going back to when you guys were debating, should it be a black background or this natural paper stock? I think anything you can do to sell the flatness of that artwork and sort of the ancestry that we've come to really appreciate about this style of art, I think anything that you can do to sell that is going to make it more successful. So my favorite one out of the 6 that they released over on Weibo is this one right here. I feel like this tells the story of Dumbo, but it does one of my favorite tricks of it tells the story visually by putting it into the real world. So by using Dumbo and the icon of the lost mom, I have mother issues, so this is a very difficult movie for me to think about consuming. Putting that on a weather vane is fantastic. Putting that weather vane on top of what looks like maybe a circus tent only tells that story more, but we don't know for sure that it's a circus tent. It feels more suggestive. And then having those 2 cranes fly by and having the feathers sort of trickle down, it only more supports the story that we all know, but doesn't ruin it for a newcomer. And then once again, with the Chinese lanterns going by, it simulates flying, it simulates adventure, it simulates, a quest. And I really enjoyed the way that they put all of that together, using the nature elements as more of a flourish, building that outer perimeter. And something that's really important with their Chinese lanterns, there's a big one over to the right, there's a medium-sized one to the left, and then a small one in the distance. That really creates the vibe of the flowing, as well as that feather fall. And I would really love to see how many times this illustrator had to sketch out those feathers to make that randomness seem so authentic and real. The type at the bottom, I wish they would have either stuck with the red or the blue and maybe gone with a softer blue. It feels too USA, and I don't even know what it says. I'm assuming that's how you say Dumbo. That's a little bit of abrasive, but really for all of these, it was more about the hero image. And I just thought that this one had the best sense of balance. And I really thought that it told the best story and felt the most authentic. I do appreciate on this one how they took the kanji, took it over to the right. Get out of my way, microphone. I'm trying to broadcast. I like how they took the kanji, put it over to the right, and then offset that with the cranes over to the left. So I thought this was really good. I thought this was an interesting campaign. It's interesting to see how corporations are really going hard into different markets. The Chinese entertainment market is a very salacious thing in the entertainment industry. We've seen the opening of Shanghai Disneyland, and China box office. It really dictates a lot. You're going to see more Zootopia because it's the #1 movie in China. So it's really, really cool to see them embrace it and to do it in an authentic way and pay tribute to something. And, when you own a company, whether it's as big as Disney or as small as Adventures in Design or whatever you're working on today, holidays, marks on the calendar, anytime that you can piggyback on a cultural thing that's happening. I know a lot of people frown at that, but it's a good way to spread your message, to be a part of the fun and to celebrate people and just say, hey, China, we're stoked that you're having a new year. Here's some fun stuff we made for you to further your celebration. All right, I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed this. I know there were some technical difficulties, but it's live, and that's what makes it fun and allows me to get to hang out with you guys and not spend hours and hours of editing. Please so much. Comment below, like, do all that dumb stuff that everybody begs you for. It really does help the channel grow. And thanks a lot to Eric and Beanie and Jimmy and Lauren and everybody hanging out. And when I popped up and the microphone wasn't working, thank you so much for being like, we can't hear you, bro. We can't hear you, bro. Because it would have really sucked to have done this and then to have to do it all over again. All right, I'm out of here. In the tone of pop culture, go listen to Adventures in Design. We got a comment below up today. And I'll see you back here tomorrow when we do it all over again. Goodbye. And I'm glad they didn't do posters like this, right? Like this is what you'd think you would get. What we got was a pleasant